Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hosanna! My God, I heard the intro. I can hear myself. And now all we got to do is hope that we don't lose audio in the course of the show. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties we've been having. Susan, that's just to let you know. Hi.
Hi. I heard the intro too.
Good. I had not been hearing the intro, and I had no audio in my own headset yesterday, which was driving me nuts because I feel like I'm not on. I just feel like I'm an old lady talking to herself in the, in the living room.
Well, welcome to my life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's true.
This is precisely what I am, an old lady talking to herself in her living room.
I know. Oh, God. I was thinking, do you think that old ladies like us, because we're both in our 70s, me quite ahead of Susan.
No, not quite. A couple of 3 years.
Almost 4 years.
3.5 years.
All right. Well, at this point, that's a lot. So,
I think it's the exact opposite. I think at this point, it becomes of decreasing
well, it's
influence.
A decreasing impact in some respects, but in others, in terms of just sort of my nearness to death. I mean, I'm thinking of that. I think you still seem. Oh, it doesn't matter. But
no, that's just silly because that's just a linear way of looking at everybody's life that is just patently untrue. But okay, so that's all beside the point. Go. I almost said
know you were going to say go ahead.
I caught myself.
I know you did. You choked. You said go, but I could hear it. I say she's going to say go ahead.
I didn't
say go ahead. You know when you say it when you interrupt me, and then.
We're going to not go over this again. That's right. It means over and out.
All right, Susan. Won't annoy you with that. And I assume a lot of other people too. What was the question I was saying? I was going to ask, do you think that old people like our brother, who's older than both of us, and me and you, do you think it has an impact on us? I was told recently that I didn't act my age.
No, everybody's always I ran into someone walking my dog in the neighborhood with her small child, and we struck a conversation. And I don't know how it came up, but I said, "Oh, I'm in my 70s," and she said, "You're kidding," and yeah, I get that all the time.
No. But I'm not talking about that. People feel it. They have to say, "Oh, you don't look 70." I'm not talking about look. I'm talking about act. There is, and some people have in their heads how, let's say, a 75-year-old woman would act. And I was with some people I didn't know well the other day, and they said, "You just don't act like a 75." And I realized that at the time.
No, we don't, because we both failed. In our family, we failed to grow up.
Okay, because at the time I was sort of slouched in my chair and I had my foot up on a piece of furniture, and I was waving my hands around and acting like myself. And I realized later, I thought, I understand what they mean. Like, is there a point at which, but I think the behavior I exhibit was the behavior I always exhibited. You're saying, is there a point? You say we didn't grow up. I mean, we did grow up, but
no, I agree with you.
Behaving in a certain way. Now, here's my question. I hadn't even gotten to it. Do you think there's something to be said that our behavior, the siblings' behavior, has not changed at all, despite our advancing age, because we are still kids because we have our mommy.
Well, I think that's definitely a part of it.
Okay,
the fact
I just
that
want
we
to know
are not, that we are not, a complete orphans. That we still have our mother, and makes
that allows us to still be.
I don't know that it allows. No, I don't let it allow me to be anything. She calls me
either.
Yeah, I don't think that's real because we have at least as far as she and I are concerned, we have completely switched roles. So I don't think it's.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I don't think it's that. But I do think it. If you still have someone standing between you and the grave, you are looking at the world in a different place, from a different view. You just are.
I think that's true. I always liken it to climbing the high. I never went off a high diving board in my life, not even jumped. And I always would watch as people climbed up it. And if there were a group of them climbing up it, and I always think of mortality in that way, climbing up this ladder and getting closer and closer to the
Till
end.
You fall off the edge.
Yeah, well, you don't fall. You gotta go. And the thing is that having that, if you do it just with your
things, and I told my wife, we have 6 grandchildren, and my grandmother used to call them the wrong names, and I started doing that, and she started saying, oh my God, turn into my grandmother. But you just do that. I mean, people do that. I've seen other people.
No, you do.
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. I blanked the other day on one of my grand nephew's names. Yeah, you do. You're forgiven.
Yeah,
we're all forgiven. Believe me.
Okay. I don't even want
Thanks for the call. Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
We
Bye.
won't die yet.
No. I think I'm intending to make it through the day. I really am.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so where am I going here? I don't know. I don't want to talk about. Oh, Susan, there was, and this is somewhat heavy, but I don't want to make it heavy. It doesn't have to be heavy. It's one of those things that the world is changing on us. That's another thing about, it's harder getting old now because it used to be you aged. For most of human history, you aged in an environment that you recognized and that you could navigate in and that you understood. But, our environment, because of technology, is just changing so rapidly that even young people are having trouble keeping up. So one of the things, I just sort of opt out of some things. I'm totally out of most popular culture now. When you're at the checkout at a grocery store and you look at those magazines.
Yes, the Star and the Globe and the National Examiner.
No, and even People magazine. Do you even know any of the people that are Entertainment Weekly? Do you know any of the people?
Mostly
who
not.
Are the stars? Yeah, mostly not. Me either. I don't.
But I found out this. I'm interrupting, but I want to know that I found out a fun fact about one of these people that I do know, Bruno Mars. You know Bruno Mars?
Yes,
right?
I just found out that same fact.
Weren't you thrilled?
No.
Oh, I was.
We read the same stuff all the time. I know what you're going to say. This is something that Jews do. You'll forgive us. Right?
Yeah, we didn't know that
right?
Bruno Mars. Yes, we didn't know that Bruno Mars was half Jewish.
He's Jewish,
and right. I adore him. I adore everything he does. I think he's so totally talented that I'm just happy to find out that he's, I got something in common with him. That's
what
nice.
Were we reading? What did we both read that little factoid jumped out at us?
Must have been Apple News on your iPad or something.
No. It was somebody else who identified somehow with Bruno Mars because I think it was she had the same Jewish / what? What's the rest of him? Derivation.
Filipino?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the Jews do this because there aren't many of us. And so it's always, I remember there's an anchor man.
So we're claiming Zelensky. We're claiming Bruno Mars.
Yeah, we claim everyone we can claim because
only the ones we like. You can keep Kushner. And his whole family.
There's so many. Oh, there's so many you can keep. But no, we claim, we'll claim Bruno Mars and we'll claim Zelensky. And what the hell was it? You interrupted me and I lost my train of thought. Shit. Oh, well.
Your train of thought?
Yeah. There. And muttering shit is something that, like, again, a woman of my age is not supposed to do. So we're supposed to say, "Oh, mercy me." Oh no, I was. There was an anchor. There is an anchor man in Pittsburgh, David Johnson, who's been he's been anchoring forever. He's been the face of the NBC affiliate.
Because we think older men are strong and wise and attractive, and we think older women are embarrassing. Like, go ahead. I did that on purpose.
I thought you did. That's why I didn't say anything. David Johnson.
Don't you think that's true?
Not as true as it was. But yes.
Yeah.
Not as true as it was. But yes. Yeah, he's grown silver-haired. He's always been handsome. He's still handsome. He's a wonderful guy. And married to a wonderful woman, wonderful family, good people. He married a Jew. And he converted to Judaism. He belongs to my synagogue. And I'm friendly with them. And I was once asking him what it was like to, enter into, the Jewish world. And he starts laughing and he said one of the things that he remembers, because he said, I can't quite remember the name of the book. He was at his in-laws to be house or something. And there was like a coffee table book. And he says it was titled something like, "Yes, they're Jews."
I know that book.
No, it was just a book where you could say, "Whoa,
she was, whoa," like Hedy Lamarr, that sort of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or all those old Hollywood actors. I mean, there were so many of them.
Oh, all of the handsome old actors were. Yeah,
not all the handsome. All Eugene Robinson. What's his name? That marvelous actor. Okay, help me here. I don't know if I'm right on Eugene or Robinson, but Eugene Robinson is a columnist.
Well, I'm picturing but I know who you're talking about. I picture his face.
Short little guy, wonderful,
with crinkly
actor.
eyes. Yes, and he played in a funny voice, and he played gangsters
a lot. But he was also in Double Indemnity, a really good movie.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't see. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But he thought that was so hysterical because when you're a Christian, I mean,
you claim them all.
Yeah, you can't even imagine that you can't have a book. Yes, they're Christian. You can't. But when you're a part of a small group, or even, yes, they're black, because that is also a visual thing. Jews can pass, and they do often. And so that's why, and they're so small in number. That's why. So anyway, he thought that was hysterical. And I never realized that.
We absolutely do it because I just did it. And I
can't tell you how often, and I just interrupted, our brother has emailed me or texted me when someone's in the news and they've done something terrible.
Oh, that we learned from our father. Oh, why do they have to be Jewish?
Please, he'll say, tell me he's not a Jew. Tell me, please, he's not a Jew. Because Jews as a small group also know that any malfeasance, and blacks know this too, any minority group knows this, any malfeasance on the part of one becomes a collective guilt and feeds into all the stereotypes that have, caused us a great deal of difficulty.
Yeah, but that's just human because, just look at our world. We all hate every Russian right now. We admire every Ukrainian. Asian people have been hiding under their beds for the last 2 years because they're blamed for the pandemic. It's this is the ignorant way that humans behave. So the reason that we behave the way we do is in reaction to knowing that is the knee-jerk reaction of a majority.
Yes, exactly right. That's right. I don't hate all Russians.
Lots of people do. Russians are apologizing for, what's being done in their names.
But it's not in their name. It's
but if you go to New York, Russian restaurants are being attacked.
I know. But anyway.
It's ignorant. Of course, Russia.
Yeah.
It's just ignorant.
Speaking of ignorance, and I still haven't gotten to this thing I was going to talk about. One of the things about this Russia and Ukraine thing that has me just gobsmacked is, and I shouldn't be, because we've gotten a course in this same kind of stuff in the 4 years of Donald Trump being our president, and that is the fact that he's just literally telling his people, one outrageous lie. And
we're watching it. And I hope the people in our country, I hope the people in our country are watching this and understanding some of them.
That's what Trump did.
And this is Trump's guy. And that's what Trump did. And maybe they want to open their eyes now.
I don't know. Dream on.
Speaking of awful people, did you see that we might have been rid of one who's running for Senate out of Missouri?
Well, he is so god-awful.
Is he not reprehensible? Eric Greitens, we are talking about the disgraced former governor of Missouri, whose wife today, who's running for Senate now, and according Trump's favor.
They're all courting Trump's favor.
Right.
Any Republican running.
Well, his wife today filed a petition in Texas, or yesterday, claiming that he physically abused her, knocked their kids around, threatened her in every way possible, including saying that the police, he was the governor, the police were on his side, and they wouldn't believe a word she said. And it mirrors what he did, the violence with which he treated his mistress. Now here's story number 2. This guy's running for Senate and thinks he has a right to do it.
Well, what's interesting is the Republican Party is freaked out and desperately trying to get him to step down. Now, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to step down.
Oh no!
Will the credulous voters of Missouri elect somebody like that?
Well,
knowing all this.
Who's the other guy? Mike McCloskey, and Josh Hawley is actually after.
Oh my God!
He's the one that's giving the whole beginning of the Ketanji Brown Jackson thing this morning was making fun of Josh Hawley and what he was saying about her.
Well, listen, Missouri's got some great. Listen, I can't. It's unbelievable.
And Ted Cruz yesterday talking to her.
I can't believe you can even look at this stuff. I will not. I'm sorry. I will not watch these hearings. Here's why. I know exactly what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, she's not going to say anything. Yeah, she's not going to say anything.
She will manage to comport herself through this hazing ritual, which is all it's become. and Republicans will make fools of themselves, and Democrats will make fools of themselves and pontificate, and all of this crap, and then she will get put on the Supreme Court, perhaps with not a single Republican vote, and with the vice president weighing in.
Yeah, well, I don't care.
I don't care either, because that's what it's come to.
Do we know how Clarence Thomas is doing today?
No. We don't.
I began having fantasies. What? That's rude.
No.
I know.
Well, it's not even rude. I wouldn't mind if he shuffled off his mortal coil, but we shouldn't. I have to admit, I've wished him ill, but I wouldn't say so publicly, although I just have.
Yeah, but it's my fault. I led you down the path.
Yeah, stop it.
Well, I will say that her opening, I was crying through her opening statement, but I'm a sap. She made me cry. Mostly seeing her husband ugly cry when she said how much she loved him just cracked me up and made me cry.
He ugly cried? Oh,
it was just cute. He was trying so hard not to.
Is it beyond, I want to point out, her husband is white, correct?
Yes.
I find it, I'm wondering if there's something about Black women. There's so many of Black people who get to positions of authority who are married to white people. I'm just saying. I don't know if that means anything. Kamala Harris. This woman.
Well, it's just who they fall in love with. I don't know what to say about that.
Even Clarence Thomas.
Yep.
He found one hell of a despicable white woman. Jesus, God, it happened. Anyway.
And they fell in love. They adore each other. I mean, they deserve each other.
It's a very nice
move.
I just want to point out, since you're mentioning the next Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Jackson, I have held on to this for some time, and it was a column that Charles Blow wrote when steam was coming out of his ears, because this was when she was first chosen by President Biden. Of course, Tucker Carlson went berserk and demanded that she put out her LSAT scores.
I know. Everybody just pointed at him and laughed.
Has anybody ever heard of that request being made? But here's what Blow says. One thing to which any successful Black person can attest is that you are sometimes, even often, asked to prove your credentials, to demonstrate that you have earned your way and earned your position. And you are often asked this by far less credentialed questioners, like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, what did he get on the LSAT?
Well, he never took them, but listen to this. Tucker Carlson went to Swiss boarding school before being kicked out. He ended up graduating from Trinity College, and in the 1991 yearbook entry, where he was asked to describe himself, he described himself as a member of the Dan White Society. Now, I ask you to look deep into your memory banks. Dan White. Dan White was a murderer. Dan White, I think his trial brought us the famous Twinkie defense. Oh. Dan White wasn't he a former cop who killed the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone.
Right. And he
Harvey
blamed it on a
Milk.
bad, in Harvey Milk, and he blamed it on a bad
Harvey
diet.
Milk.
Yeah.
Right. And this is how Dianne Feinstein became the mayor of San Francisco. So can you imagine this little son of a bitch says that he's a member of the Dan White Society.
Right. He's for murdering
gay people.
men.
It was he's for murdering gay men. So while and Brown, Blow points out that so in 1991, when Carlson, who wants to see her LSAT scores, was identifying with this homicidal homophobe, she was studying government at Harvard while being a student organizer for civil rights causes and graduated magna cum laude the following year.
And we all know that when you're editor of the Harvard Law Review, it's because it's a gift.
Best.
Yeah. I mean, they're just giving it to her because she didn't earn it.
Oh, yeah. No, of course not. And this is exactly like Donald Trump questioning the legitimacy of Barack Obama's citizenry and his pedigree and whether or not he wrote his books. Here's a quote from Donald Trump about...
But this is just Trump. Trump knows that people don't write their own books because he didn't write his own
He never
book.
did, yeah. And even...
it never occurs to him that someone writes books, so maybe someone actually
does. Yeah. So anyway, Blow ends thusly. And did you see who's that horrific Republican female, Blackburn senator, asking her something about critical race theory, as if that has anything to do with constitutional law, but just getting it in there. Oh,
she just had to say the words.
And that's for the folks.
The criticisms are the height of ignorance. Claiming that her work as a public defender is or defending people at Gitmo. Come on, that's something
bedrock of our constitutional order is that everyone deserves representation. And as a federal public defender, you don't pick your clients. You are assigned cases, if that makes any difference. Dear God in heaven.
Well, their criticisms are always born and rely on the ignorance of their constituents. I'm going to assume that they aren't also that ignorant, which is bullshit. Yeah. I'm sure that, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene certainly is.
But a lot of them are not, and that makes them worse. That makes them worse. So here, Mitch McConnell darkly saying that Jackson, here's his words, has a special empathy for criminals. And the Republican National Committee saying she did advocacy for terrorists. This is all because of her federal public defender position, which will bring, by the way, a refreshing point of view to an elitist Supreme Court. She will become to a country which should by now just take as fact that we routinely lock up people of color inappropriately. Yeah. Crime of being black. She also, and here's another little factoid that blew me away. If confirmed, which she will be, unless somehow Joe Manchin decides she won't be. I hate him. So if she is confirmed, she would become only the third graduate of a public high school to sit on the court.
Yay, public high schools.
Yeah, not in history, but on this court. Mm-hmm. 6 of the members are all private school educated, and get this, not just private school, Catholic.
Private Catholic schools, yes.
6. You know, it used to be an overwhelmingly Protestant Supreme Court we had. Now we have an overwhelmingly, is there a Protestant on the court? I guess she'll be. Because there's 2 Jews. Okay. Yeah, everybody else is Catholic. I think she'll be the only Protestant. I'm assuming she's a Protestant. I don't know. Where'd all you Protestants go? Used to run the place. Oh, those are those pissed off evangelicals.
Right, you don't want them back.
We used to run the place. Damn it. All right. So here's the thing I wanted to get to. It was fascinating, and I don't know if it's a daunting read, which is why I've told myself that I can do it in little bits and pieces, and I've made my way through about 2.5 pages. But Sunday's New York Times had an entire section that was geared to educating those of us who don't really understand it. What the hell this cryptocurrency stuff is.
Oh, God.
And I know, but here's what they say. Susan, we gotta know. This is one of those things you can't say, forget it. This one is something you've got to know. And this reporter at the New York Times has done a masterful job because it is in English. It's broken down into little questions that he goes very carefully through, and he does the skeptics say this, and the promoters of it say that, and he generally comes down sort of in between. But he says, guys, it's inescapable. 20% of American adults and 36% of American millennials already own cryptocurrency. Those are numbers that show that this is something that is gaining the kind of traction where it's going to continue. So this is somewhat like the beginning of the internet or social media. And he says that what cryptocurrency is going to do to our financial system is akin to what social media did to our media. Well, we know that was a huge revolutionary change for ill and good. And
but it
so
was
he's
certainly
suggesting
a disruption, right?
Woo! And he's saying, now that we know about what happened with the internet and how it did that with social media and for the way we get information and communicate, maybe it'd be better if a whole bunch of us paid a little more attention at the beginning when this thing is still trying to figure out. It is in its infancy, trying to figure out how and where it's going to change everything. Now, the guy who writes this, listen to this. He was a skeptic, and he's a technology reporter for the Times. His name is Kevin Roos, and he was asked to contribute something to some charity auction. And so I think he thought almost as a joke. He said, well, I'll take one of my columns and I guess put it in NFT
Make
form.
it an NFT, right?
And you can have one of my columns, big deal, as an NFT. It sold for $500,000.
All right. Well,
see, now
that just shows you that values are
nuts.
illusory and nuts. And the fact that someone paid that for it does not make it worth that.
No, and he knows that too. But man, that's a one rich columnist now. He got the money.
He got the money. I thought it was for
the
charity.
Got the money. You're right. Okay, so that's nice. So the charity got the money. You're right.
But Melania Trump failed at it. I'm just going to point out there it can't be that difficult if she could do it at all. But she got caught because it's such a fluctuating currency. If you get caught at the wrong end,
there's a lot.
You're trading in a very volatile commodity,
That is right. That is right. But so he says there are people who are, playing the game with some investors' wisdom, and there are others who are getting had, and there are tons of these people that have just made killings, and there are some crooks out there. There's no doubt about it. So, there's a lot of overhyped, overvalued, fraudulent crap going on. But as he says, there is something of actual substance that is being built. And when so much money and energy and talent is flowing toward something like this, it's generally a good idea to pay attention and to understand it, because it's going to transform our society in the coming years. So, guys, I'm telling you.
Well, here's the good news, Lynn. We're old. With any luck,
we're not that old. We're not that old.
No, but these things take, even the internet took decades.
Yeah, but it's all happening faster now. I don't know. But it's being formed now. So the more people get in, and it's not ideological. The whole nations are taking sides on this. El Salvador has a president who just is totally into crypto, and he has announced the development of a Bitcoin city. And he intends.
They're so bad, they're really awful for the environment. By the way,
I know, and the other they have to come in.
And the other consideration, though, is that this is the very definition of dark money.
No, it's not.
Well,
no, it's not. That's one of the things I learned. It is less dark money than our current banking system, because blockchains, which is where all the data is stored and verified securely, it says blockchains are maintained by a network of computers all over the world. These computers are sometimes called miners or validators, and they're responsible for storing their own copies of the database, adding and verifying new entries, and securing it against hackers. This is decentralized. It doesn't need a company overseeing it. Blockchains are typically public and open source, meaning that unlike a bank, anyone can inspect a public blockchain's code or see a record of any transactions. Blockchains are typically permanent, meaning that data that's added to it cannot be deleted or changed after the fact. So, blockchains
but if you can't follow who that number belongs to, it remains dark. I don't care that you can look at all the transactions if you don't know who's doing them.
Well, Suze, I'm only like a fifth of the way into reading through this, so I can't be answering. But I've already
good for you for reading it.
Well, it's so outside my comfort zone.
Yes, I would have put this in the eyes glazing over category for you.
Well, yeah. And then it gets into NFTs later, and it gets into, my God. Geez, I don't know. So it looks like it's in the New York Times. I think it replaced the business section of the Sunday New York Times this last Sunday. Look it up, and I think it's one thing not to know who the latest, TV stars and movie stars are, but I got a feeling this is something we should know.
Well, this is something that we should know about, but if you are playing on a field where it's actually that critically important to you, then you're probably also playing in a field where you can hire someone who knows what the hell they're doing. Like your financial advisor is the person that will now have to be up on cryptos.
Oh, yeah, they are really going to have to. And banks must be freaking out. So I was saying El Salvador intends to go total crypto, and China, on the other end, is banning it.
Right, because they can't see who's doing what.
Well, when China's against something, I tend to start thinking, because it's open. Right. They don't like anything that is out of their
control. That's right.
Right. So I don't know. Bit of the day. I'm looking at a picture of this woman, and it was taken when she was, 70? No, it was taken when she was 80. God! She's in a bikini. Her body is unbelievable. 80. Flat stomach, gorgeous legs. She's not a dancer, because unbelievable. But yes, she was.
What about her skin?
Even her skin looks, I know. Her skin, it's a black and white photo from, I can't tell, but her skin looks not bad. Oh, speaking of that, our brother sent me a video of Iggy Pop performing somewhere. And it's from a few years ago. And he's shirtless. And his skin looks... Well, his skin looks like my skin. It looks like any 7. He's my age. It looks and he's got a little pot belly. And I'm thinking, put a shirt on. Who wants to see that? But on the other hand, he's representing what an old body looks like and showing that an old body can still have energy. And so I thought I probably should get off his back. I've been saying bad things about him all my life, and maybe should stop. But he even had Hadassah arms, Suze.
Yeah. You mean high Janes?
Is that what they're called? But
yeah.
Here's what we're talking about with Hadassah arms, which is another term my brother invented. It's if a person, if you're wearing a short sleeve, and right, you're wearing a sleeveless shirt and you're waving, that muscle or lack thereof from your elbow to your shoulder on the bottom that just wiggles, that. My brother, because he was appalled by that as a child, he must have been. Why would he have called it that? Maybe he found himself at a meeting of Hadassah, which is a women's organization, Jewish women's organization. And there were probably a bunch of old women there. Maybe someone asked him to raise their hands, and he saw all that jiggling flesh. And so he's always called that Hadassah arms. Anyway, I got him. I think if you have really strong triceps, you can make it dance. I have held it off for. You held it off pretty well. But now it's starting a little bit, and I really work out. Yeah, you do work out. I know, but he maintains mother doesn't have Hadassah arms. And I said, you're out of your mind. There's no 99-year-old who doesn't have Hadassah arms, male or female.
Well, they aren't bad.
Well,
she really sort of doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God dang it. Well, I do. And I got skinny little arms, and I still manage to have blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Anyway, this woman, Jane McPherson, I don't think she's got Hadassah arms. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's dead. She died at the age of 84, and she was a trailblazer in a sport that was considered male. This was
she was a bodybuilder?
No. It was another at the time in the early 50s. Nobody of her gender dared go to the beach. Surfer. Surfer. And
well, that'll keep your body in shape because you can't surf without a really good core. And
oh yeah, I bet.
So that.
And she was surfing. She was surfing right up until the end, which is why that body. I mean, unbelievable. She surfed while pregnant. She surfed everywhere. When she first started surfing, guys on the beach threw rocks at her. Way to go, guys! Yeah.
It's our sport. Yeah. What's wrong? It's a real question. What's wrong with guys? I mean, really, because I like you in general. I just don't get it.
No, you like them individually, but not in general.
No, I don't like them in general. I do like them individually.
Right.
In general, you guys are a mess. I just want to say.
Well, they can't help it. They got made that way. It's that a lot of it is made that way. Don't you think?
No.
Testosterone.
I think it's 99.9% cultural permission.
Well, then it's learned. Well,
period.
That's true. Then it's because they, by virtue of their physical
boys will
strength,
be boys. It's
right.
Bullshit.
And inability to bear children, were able to sort of take over running the cultures. And I mean, name a religion that got founded by a woman. Is there one?
Well, depending on how you look at Mary, I mean, she did birth herself, Jesus.
No. She ain't no. You tell me if any of the disciples who wrote the New Testament, supposedly, were women.
Well, I think that we agree that that's. I think, in general, it's believed that Paul X'd out the women.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a caller and I didn't even see it. Edward G. Robinson. Thank you, Ben. I stopped looking at I wasn't saying Edward. Everybody's saying Edward G. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Well, we could all see his cute face. What?
And our audio was off for a little bit again. Son of a bitch! Guys, we lost audio. I'm sorry I didn't see that. Lost audio around 10:08. Came back around, I don't know. I'm not getting the time here. Around 10:14.
Well, that's not so bad if they hung in there for 6 minutes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, but damn it. Okay, we got we will try to get this fixed. We have some kind of software here that is not doing its job. Because this was happened yesterday, happened today, happened last week, I can't do this. We can't do this. And I know it cuts out just when I'm saying something breathtakingly
brilliant. We were so brilliant during those 6 minutes.
What you guys missed. I hate to tell you. Damn. Well, there's just no way we can go back and put it all back together again.
Mostly because we can't remember. But anyway.
That's true.
Lynn and I both have the same reaction when someone says to us without any sense of embarrassment, because it means they didn't listen. How was the show today? What did you talk about? And I can never remember. Can you remember?
Rarely. Yeah. Okay. I might remember one thing or
right.
But often not. And when I used to do 3 hours on the radio and somebody would say, "What do you talk about today?" I would look at them with glazed eyes.
It's called being in the moment, folks. You know, and the words just fall trippingly off our tongues, and we have no idea 90% of the time what we're saying.
Oh, man. God almighty. So, what else? I don't know. There's nothing. God,
it's all.
Putin.
It's just terrible.
Here's another terrible thing. Suze?
Yes, I can't wait. Bated breath.
It's Republicans again. I want to say, so, COVID, we're in a pretty good time right now, but there's a lot of warnings.
For 2 weeks, there's another variant dropping out.
I know, the BA2 coming down the pike, yada, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking, we expect a wave probably as soon as April or maybe later in the spring. Who the hell knows? This subvariant estimated to be 30 to 50% more contagious than Omicron, which, as you know, was
more contagious, was 100% more contagious than Delta.
You got to give it to these bugs. I mean, these bugs go out doing what bugs do.
They're very good at it.
And then they say, I think we need to retool a little bit here. We seem to not be, let's make ourselves more, it's just unbelievable.
Well, it's because they don't do it by committee. They're simply wired that way.
I know.
If they had to actually, work it out, it's our specialness that screws us up every single time.
Yeah. So I had a little sore throat the other day, and I thought, you got a little sore throat, relax. And then the next day, it seemed a little worse, and my voice seemed a little rough. And so I thought, all right, already. So I took one of my home tests, and guess what?
Negative.
I had a sore throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's what I wanted to say. The people who supposedly legislate in this country, that would be our do-nothing Congress, has refused to approve. This is the Senate. The Senate has refused to approve $15 billion in new coronavirus aid, which is why we can't, we've got these drugs now that can alleviate symptoms and this and that. Biden wants the drug companies to manufacture more and more of them, and the government needs to subsidize this kind of thing. They won't do it. The Republicans won't do it.
Well, no, because the Republicans have decided that COVID is a red herring. Yeah.
No, it's also good for them because they'll blame it on Biden. Meanwhile, it's killing off more and more and more of their
supporters. But
here is who stymied those funds. Because
I know that
the Senate. Wait. If it was the Senate, why wouldn't we have been able to pass it? You need one.
Did Manchin go on the wrong side again?
Yep.
Why don't they throw him out of the party?
Because every once in a while he votes with us.
Not when it counts.
Unbelievable. And I mean, yeah, so I just want to say that we are always, and all the epidemiologist types say, damn, it's in these times of lull when we need to ramp up what we're going to be doing so we're ready the next time.
Right.
And what
so
we do every time there's a lull is say, oh, good, that's over, and we only react. That's all Republicans will do is react. You literally have to have,
So here's what I'm saying, because I don't care what the CDC says. I have not taken off my mask. I do go into a grocery store. That's about it. But I wear a mask. I am now just about the only person wearing a mask.
Yeah, you are.
But I don't care. I'm going to continue to wear a mask because I am hearing that the next one is just over the hill. And I happen to think that my boosters and immunity are way down because I got them so early, and same for my mother and our mother. And I'm not going to go through all of this stuff and have her get it at this point.
Well, I have to say that I'm getting more and more. I don't know.
Well, I'm
getting a little more relaxed, just because
you're tired of it.
I can't. And however, I was at a funeral home last week, and it was packed. And I and my friend were the only two masked people. And I felt like an idiot. I mean, you feel like you're and people were looking at us. I mean, I was embarrassed. You stand out like the place was packed. And I even said to one of the people who lost a loved one, I said, I'm afraid this is a super spreader event you got here. And I said, I'm embarrassed to be the only one, but my God, he said, I know what you mean. But he wasn't wearing a mask because he felt pressure not to.
Yeah, well,
and now I'm worried about
this is exactly how it happens. And we're planning on going to a public event, and I'm going masked.
All right. This mask would be better looking. I had an appointment with somebody yesterday, a private meeting, and I had to go in masked, and she came out masked, and then we went to her office, and I said, I'm vaxxed and boosted. Can I take this damn thing off? And she said, sure. And she did too. And yeah, I just can't.
Well, but that, I think that's different.
Yeah. I do too. All right.
But I don't go into public places still where there are all sorts of people I don't know without a mask. I'll probably never stop because I think it's great. I don't get sick. What do I need a cold or the flu for? Really.
All right.
We did it.
We did it and then some. So,
but you got to subtract the
today?
6 minutes. No, I am already back in my own home.
Oh, you are?
Well, I am back in my own home, but I am going to turn right around and then I'm back in Wisconsin for a bit.
When? When are you turning around?
Thursday.
Okay. When did you get back to Chicago?
Yesterday.
Okay. Feel bad. Okay, so I'll call Mom. I have been remiss. Okay.
Okay, yeah, do.
Yeah, will do.
People don't need to hear this.
I know. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Bye, everybody. Sorry for the audio issues. I am hoping we can correct them soon. Okay? Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.